Hey, welcome to Leading Your Agency. Today is a fantastic episode. I'm very much looking forward to speaking to Gabriela. She is the CEO of Kala Agency. Welcome, Gabriela.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much for the intro. I'm really looking forward to explaining my experience and how I became from a solopreneur to CEO at Kala.
Very cool. So, also disclaimer, Gabriel and I used to work together, so I might have more insights than what you hear in this podcast. But I'm trying to keep it very, very high level and consistent in the conversation, and to give you context where needed. So, Kala Agency is an SEO agency with a very high quality approach to, building sustainable search results for their clients. You're headquartered in, and now I have to ask, Spain or Portugal? In
So,
in Spain, right?
the company is in Spain. I'm personally based in Portugal, but the
Oh,
company is in Spain.
such a beautiful world in where these things are possible. So fantastic,
Yeah.
Gabriela. If you don't mind, because I mean I know you a bit now, but our listeners don't. Tell us a bit more on how Kala Agency started. What was your path from a solopreneur, and then what made you start Kala Agency?
So, since the very beginning, I started like 8 years ago. I was traveling and I started a travel blog and I designed the blog myself. I did the whole site, I wrote all the content. Once it was finished, I started like writing actual content about my journeys and I finally published everything. And I realized that the only person that was reading my blogs was my mom. So I started thinking what sources of traffic I could generate, and I learned about SEO. With time, I started studying about SEO and onboarding some of the clients, implementing my strategies in the blog in the new clients. And yeah, that's how I started with SEO. Now Kala has 4 years already, and we serve clients in Europe, Canada, and the US, and we have like a full SEO scope of services. We mainly work with B2B clients in the SaaS and healthcare industry. And yeah, so that's mainly how I went from travel to being a CEO in like, yeah, 3 years
Very, very, very
freelancing.
interesting. Because also I know another SEO company based in Germany that have a very similar history, coming from a travel blog, exploring SEO while doing that, and then building an agency out of it. But
Yeah.
so when at which point did you decide, okay, this is not me anymore, doing my travel blog SEO, but this is something that I want to build a company on. How did that decision come?
So I was freelancing for 3 years. And while freelancing, I was only providing like at the beginning was only content services. So SEO, just for the people that don't know, SEO has like 3 to 4 main pillars, which is on page, off page, technical, and content. At that point, I was only offering content and on page, basic on page. I learned through the years, and I wanted to deliver a really high quality service and to actually deliver results to my clients. At the end of the day, if with SEO you don't work on the 4 areas, you're not going to get or maximize results and the investment you're making. So I wanted to offer that. So I decided to start looking for people and trying to build a team. With time, it was really good. Clients were really happy, and I was actually delivering results, not only content, which was really nice. So yeah, it was mainly delivering a better service and results to clients with like covering all the aspects of SEO.
So you basically saw that with your skill set and probably also capacity, I would imagine, right? You weren't
Yeah.
able to deliver the full scope of service you found was necessary to actually deliver results, right?
Yeah, no, it's also the knowledge behind. So I had knowledge about content on page, a lot of knowledge about the SEO strategy. Technically speaking, I knew what SEO like what it involved, but I didn't have the knowledge of implementing proper technical SEO, proper off page SEO, and I really wanted experts to work with me first of all to learn, and then to deliver the service to the clients.
Okay,
So
very
yeah, it was a mix of a lot of things that made me make that decision.
Yeah, very cool. And I mean, I want to talk later about how this whole shift feels looking back, and if it was a good decision. But maybe let's talk a bit about the transition period of building a company out of a freelance
Mm.
gig. So when you think back into the times we started Kala, brought on the first team members, what challenges did you see in transitioning from that solo entrepreneurship into building a company?
So I see two main challenges here. And I think the challenges at the beginning are more or less the same now. So they just
Hmm.
evolve through the years, but they are the same. First of all, was building a team. For me, it was really hard to find the right people because they're like you need people that shares your values, your way of working. Obviously, they needed to be SEO experts in the different files. I was like, I could see a lot of SEO experts, but then I wanted like results with a results mindset, goal based, really transparent, and that was really, really hard for me. That they obviously wanted to work with Kala as well. Once I had the team, and this is something that Ben I worked with you a couple of months ago, was mapping up responsibilities and roles of each person with the ratio matrix. Um, it was it's hard to not overlap task and to be like 100% efficient, and for me that was a challenge that nowadays everything is better, but it is still whenever you grow and you add new people to the team, it still comes up, and we need to rework on that.
Yeah, that's very true.
um,
And also one thing, I spoke to another agency owner the other day, and he basically said the reward for solving a problem in building your agency is that you get presented a bigger problem, right? So
yeah, yeah.
you solve one, it just
Totally,
you just
totally.
and your
Yeah,
reward for that is
another
getting a
one.
harder one. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Also, regarding the team, another issue that I had at the beginning was learning to delegate and to give tasks to people without me being involved. At the end of the day, at the beginning, I was doing everything and I was delivering everything to the client and on my own way. And then I needed to trust on another people to do it, another person to do it. And at the beginning, that was tough. But what I learned was that I really needed to trust the team, and if I've hired them, it's because obviously they are good, and yeah, trusting them led to really nice results. So things that maybe I wouldn't do that way or whatever that really add value to the client. So delegating was also another challenge. Talking
How
about
do
the
you
team.
think? Sorry, how do you think you if you had to give advice to somebody who's just trying to learn to let go, because this is really what it is, right? You have to accept that people do things differently.
Yeah.
W- w- is there something that you think helps with that? What do you think is the critical component of achieving that trust and the the ability to let your team develop also their own ways of working? I mean, there's probably a Kala approach to how you do things, but still
Yeah.
every individual has their own ways of doing things, which will very likely be different from what you do. So what would you say are the most important ingredients into developing that trust, into taking yourself out of the thing?
Well, so in my case, what helped me a lot was first of all, I hired just trust that your hiring process is working. And
Hmm.
you also helped me as well on the hiring process. What things should I ask and requirements? Um, Having like really fixed guidelines of what is a must for Kala and where we are happy to innovate and to do new things. One really important thing for me, and that the team has already told me that it's really important and they really appreciate this, keeping them really up to date on what the client wants on our client meetings, because at the end it's me who is having the client meetings and it's me who onboards the client, so I know the client 100%, but they don't really know him or her. So keeping them up to date, like what are their needs, what are their goals, what are their priorities at this moment, help them deliver proper work,
Yeah.
and really good work and actually adding value. So if you keep them updated, you trust them, and you have like fixed guidelines on the agency on how things should be, there, that helped me a lot.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's such a critical topic that you address here, and this is not only for the transition from solo um, to to a company, but we see this being an issue at every size of agency. Where how do you make sure that information flows not only from client to account management manager or account strategist or whatever the name is, or project manager, but how do you make sure that the execution team knows this, right? And this is a problem that typically becomes harder as you grow. But how did you what format did you choose? Like, how do you make sure your team is up to date? Is that, I don't know, could be just a debrief in Slack or a quick email, or is there some form of client profile that you update? How do you do that? It's really interesting.
So, well, first of all, I'm recording every call with clients. So in case there's a misunderstanding with the team or they don't really understood my feedback from the call, they can always go to the call recording. But also after every call, I would send them. I will have like a Word document, really basic, with the date and then main insights of the meetings. So every meeting, I will send them through Slack. So we use Monday, so it's an automation with Monday and Slack, and they will receive in Slack a summary of the call and the
That's
main action
fantastic.
points that we are going to make after the meeting.
Yeah, no, that's really great, and it's really the simpler the better. But it's such an important thing to make sure that everybody that's working on a client account has the information that you have, right? Because there's so
Mhm.
many nuances and things in between the lines in these client conversations that make you understand stuff which your team has to know, right? So that's really critical.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, like at the beginning, I was considering everything really obvious, and I was considering that they had a lot of information or whatever, but no, they don't. They just do like from a task you create on Monday, they deliver something for the client. So you cannot ask for like perfect deliverables if they don't have all the information. So for
Yeah.
me, that made a huge difference, and yeah, proper communication with them.
So communication, trying to find the best people you can at this stage of your agency, which also is not hard when you're a young agency, right? Because
Yeah,
you can't really go for the best talent available because you just can't afford it, right?
yeah.
And then lastly, sharing information from client calls, really cool. So any outside of the build team building aspect, what other things did you find challenging, and how did you solve it when building Kala?
So one thing that was a big challenge was finding like our offering, our core offering for the to obtaining new leads and new clients. So there are so many SEO agencies. Competition is really high, and we mainly work with English speaking companies. So that was. We needed to find something that differentiates us from the competitors. So finding that message that resonates with our audience and that they really need it, like it's actually going to help them. It's not just an SEO agency that will charge you a monthly retainer and that 6 months and that's it. So we worked a lot on it. Nowadays, what we are offering and what we found it really helps clients is we are working, as I said before, with US, Canada, and European clients, English native speakers with English businesses that they want to open to new markets. So what we offer them is we take you to those new markets, and now we are working on French, German, Spanish, and we are starting to work on Italian and Portuguese, and we take you to those new markets with guaranteed results, so that you need to make an investment, but we guarantee you that you are going to have the presence you want in that new market. So
So the
we not only
multilingual
work,
aspect is
yeah,
important, and
multilingual
also the
SEO, yeah,
results focus, right? That's something you
results
mentioned
focused.
before. Yeah.
That's really important for us, and also to keep the team aligned with the goals of the client, but also obviously for the clients. If they are paying a monthly retainer, they need to see results. So
Yeah.
that's something we take on really seriously, and yeah, and finding that message and that offering was really important for us. And I think it's not only in the SEO world, but everywhere. You really need, we all have a lot of competitors, so we really need to a message that differentiates from the competitors. But it's really hard. I think it's together with the team, building the team is one of the hardest things
Yeah.
while
And it's so
building
fundamental, you know. I think, I mean, and
it's
we've been
basic.
talking about this a lot also just now before this call, because also we are currently working on refining that and making sure we're really addressing the right people and we're really solving a very valuable problem, right? And I think that especially for SEO, it's very easy, and I see this quite a bit outside, that it's easy to get to resort back to an activity based approach where you say, hey, this is what we do for you. You know, we do content, we do on page optimization, we do backlink building, but this is all activity based, right? It's very rare, I find, that SEO agencies really give like success or result guarantees. How
Mm.
have you found that to work out for you? Isn't that a very risky thing to do, or how do you manage that?
So it's not risky because we, well, it has a risk, but it's not really risky as it sounds, because we ask for an engagement. At the end of the day, if on SEO you work on the proper strategy for a proper amount of time and on an ongoing basis, you will have results. It really depends on the industry you are, on the type of company you have, but that's something we will check beforehand, and we will set expectations clearly to the client. So we will say, we can achieve this. Is this something that you are happy with? Then we can work. If not, you'll need this amount of investment or this amount of time or whatever. So setting up expectations is really important for us. And moreover, with this offering where we are guaranteeing results. So that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. So then I think lastly in our conversation before this recording, you mentioned that one of the challenges you faced were really organizing how you deliver your work. Right? Can you explain a bit on what you did there and what issues you faced and how you resolved them?
Yeah, so this was also a challenge because I wanted to scale, I wanted to grow. So then we needed more efficiency while communicating, delivering. So finding the proper deliverables, finding the proper how to communicate with the client was a challenge. And nowadays we are working with, talking in a more practical way, we are working with Monday and Slack that is making our day way easier in terms of organization. And also clients like it really much because we have our updates scheduled, so they know when they are going to receive an update, they know when they are going to hear from us, and they know when they need to be ready to start implementing things or to check our reports or whatever. So organizing that deliverables and communication was super important for us. Now it takes less time to deliver the same thing, and clients also, because what I found at the beginning was that we sent information, we understood the information, but clients, obviously, that they are not SEO experts, they have no idea what we are talking about. So
Yeah.
also organizing how we transmit the information to them was really important.
So client interaction, and one other thing that you mentioned also, this is really resonates with me, is expectation management, right?
Yeah.
They have to have a very clear understanding, I think, of two things, right? One is, what outcomes can I expect?
Mm.
What's reasonable outcome that can be considered successful, to give them that primer in advance so they
Mm.
know you prime them for the results to expect. So, you know, basically there's this nice saying of client experience is client expectations, sorry, clients, the success feeling they have is client expectations minus experience, right? So you
Yeah.
have to prime them for what they expect in
Yeah.
order for them to deliver, right? So
Mm.
that's really critical. I agree. The So one thing I want to mention, this is something that I got to know about your company when we worked together. So already when we started to work together, you were very meticulous about, for example, your monday.com setup, right? So there's a very clear
Yes.
structure, very clear actionable tasks, depending on different stages of your onboarding with clients, and then you move into the more consistent SEO work that goes on for months. So lots of structure there. But what I found particularly interesting for a agency that's in the early phase at the time we worked together, right? Was how well you manage finances and how you meticulous
Mm.
you are about that. Can you elaborate a bit on why this is so important to you and the benefits you see from really staying on top of your finances at a very granular level and including financial planning?
Yeah, so well, thank you. I try to be really organized. I'm really organized with everything, but more with finances because it's a huge topic while having your own business and being the CEO. For me, it's crucial to have visibility on the business. So understanding how much you are making, how much you are spending, it gives you the ability of giving visibility not only now this month but this year, next year, like in 5 years, where is Kala going to be, or where do I want Kala to be. uh, for me, like, being able to plan and organize my goals, but because a financial goal is not like a number. A goal comes with a strategy behind. It comes with a number of expenses, investment, with a lot of things behind. So it's not only saying I want to make this number this year and that's it. It really comes with a strategy, and you can only have that strategy and those estimations if you have your finances properly done and up to date.
Yeah.
So for me, is really, really, really important. Understand, having realistic goals. If you don't have your finances properly done, then you could be overspending, and
And you don't
and
even
you're
know, right?
and you don't even know, and you're
Yeah.
done. Or you could be missing opportunities of growth. Maybe you think you are not earning that much and your margins are lower than what they are. So then you are not spending money maybe on a mentorship or on an asset for the company that
Yeah.
could help you grow. So in both ways, overspending and not spending that much, or investing, those are problems for the business. So yeah, having that visibility for me is mandatory.
Very cool. Just maybe if you don't mind sharing, what comes first for you? How do you go about the goal setting process? Do you say, okay, I have financial goals, and then you break it down into initiatives, or do you say, okay, these are the things that I could be doing, and if I do them well, I'll probably reach that goal. So what comes first, initiative or the goal
The
for you?
goal.
The goal. So
The
you
goal.
basically plan backwards from, okay, this is where I want to go.
Yes.
This is what I need to do to,
This
to
is where I
accomplish.
want to be in 3 years. This is where I want to be next year. How do I make that happen?
Yeah.
I need, obviously, after, when you do all your initiative and all the expenses and everything, maybe you say, that was too much." Maybe I should lower expectations, or okay, it's really doable. Let's increase our goal. But yeah, always goal, and then thinking how to achieve it.
Very cool. And how
Um,
often would you say do you adjust your strategy throughout the year? Is that basically monthly, where you say, okay, looking into how business is going, if or is it more like a more long-term thing where it's like quarterly or so? How often do you revisit
so
that?
I check my finances every month. So every month I know how I'm with the goal, if it's going well, if it's we could improve. But once every 4 months, I check at my goals actually. So okay, this was my goal and I've done this. Let's reconsider it. Maybe I can grow more. Maybe it's not a good year, whatever. So on a monthly basis, I know what I have, and then every 4 months, I recheck the strategy.
So it's really monitoring monthly and then reevaluating strategy and the strategic
Yeah.
approach with regards to initiatives on a form of, okay, very cool.
Yes, and I'm
Um,
also on a stage of like growing. So as you said, it's really early now. We've only been like 4 years, so I still grow. I don't know if at some point I'll be stable and just working as usual and no new things happening, but nowadays a lot of things are happening, so I really need to revisit my finances
Yeah, no,
every now
I
and
think it's
then.
so valuable, and I think it's with where there's so much stuff going on with client experience and clients and requests and strategic initiatives and operations. It's hard to not pay enough attention. It's easy to not pay enough attention to finance, right? So
Yeah,
it's so important, such an important thing because in the end, regardless of whether you're in the business to make profit or if maybe you also have a philanthropic arm, but you gotta have a very good understanding for finances if you want to be successful,
yeah,
right? So I really
yeah.
really love that. So that's really a really strong thing, I think. Now looking at it's 2023 October. Looking back at the journey, I, are you happy that you did it? Are you happy that you transitioned from the freelance thing into the company? Would you do it
Mm,
again if you know now what you know? If you knew back then what you know now?
yes, for sure.
Yes.
100 times. I really like it. So um it has been a big challenge and a big change. So I wasn't expecting a lot of things that uh, came. Or talking about finances, it's a whole world. Like it's huge. So, but still, I learned a lot. So I'm every day learning about new things. I've met so many cool businesses, so I would do it for sure.
100%. Very cool. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
and also that's one of the aspects I love most about being in the B2B space, just learning about other businesses, and it's
yeah,
it's just wild how many business models are out there, and
yeah,
what people are doing. Right, there's so much cool stuff going on, which you're exposed to when you do that kind of work.
yeah.
So last question for today, and you might have to come back at a point to just keep continuing being with you on your journey. But if you think about yourself before starting Color, so you were starting to work on SEO, you see some success, you think, oh, I like that, I'm good at that. What is one advice that you would give like a young SEO strategist, for example, that is looking to start their own agency? What's the one thing that you think is most critical?
So in my case, that I really loved what I was doing, like SEO. Like be ready of stop working on SEO and start working as a sales, marketing, accountant, finances manager of your company. So you are now everything, and you are not that much in SEO. Maybe SEO it's like a 20%, and then you have the rest. That was tough for me because I really liked SEO. So, but still, I tried to stay on the loop of every SEO aspect. So be ready, and then be organized and with your finances. And I keep on repeating this, but keep your finances organized, uh, and everything at the end, like the team, your clients. So be really, really organized
Yeah, I love
while
that. I
you
mean,
grow.
really, I think both of these things, right? Being organized is something that is really critical, especially with regards to finances. And you can't start too early with that, right? Even if it feels it
Yeah.
doesn't matter because it's just me and one other person. Stay on top of your
Mhm.
finances is such a critical thing. The other thing, I love that because it's really something that I think many people that start a business in a field that they're passionate about, they don't expect that, or they don't really are aware of the fact before they do it, that it will mean you will be doing less of what you really like,
Yeah.
right? But then there's other tasks that you have to do then that are, I mean, from my point of view, and I think you would agree, equally exciting, right? Building a company, managing a
Yes.
team, doing sales, something that you have to grow into if you're just an
Yeah.
SEO strategist, right? But I think also the flip side of that journey is, if you're doing SEO, and you love the SEO work itself, but you don't want to do all that other stuff that it takes to build a company, then maybe just get the best SEO strategist or the best content writer or whatever
Yeah.
that is out there. But you got to face the fact that you'll be doing less of the things that
Yeah.
you love and more of the things that are
Yeah.
required to build a company.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I totally agree with you. Like I also like the other things, and I discovered a lot of areas that I really like as sales, for example. I've learned a lot. Other like accounting and finance, not that much, but still I learned a lot as well. But yeah. you always find nice things on the way.
I agree. Gabriela, that was really fun. So if any of you out there wants to reach out to Gabriela, we'll link her profile in the show notes. Also, you obviously can find her here on LinkedIn. So reach out to her. She's a wonderful person, as you've seen. I'm sure she'll share some conversation and some experience with you. And yeah, for anybody else of you out there looking into more conversations like this, check out our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast, or on YouTube, or here on LinkedIn. So there's multiple ways to check out other episodes of Leading Your Agency. Gabriela, it was a pleasure having you. I hope we can continue this in the future, just to really see where color is going and what new challenges, what new problems you've got presented for solving the ones you have today. It's gonna be exciting to visit. Thank you so much for being here, and to all your listeners out there, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Sven.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.